Shadow the Hedgehog, everyone's favorite edgy, sailor-mouthed ultimate life form. Sometimes he's a stronger, cooler version of Sonic, and other times he's just an asshole that doesn't help at all. Today, we're going to look at Shadow's character in every mainline Sonic game and rank him from worthless to elite. His first appearance is obviously in Sonic Adventure 2, so starting with that game, he's pretty freaking elite. Now, he's not crazy helpful to the heroes until the very end of the final chapter of the game, but throughout the story, he was the main driving force behind pretty much everything, and is the only character to have ever really outsmarted Dr. Eggman. When he frees him at the beginning of the game, he uses Eggman's desire to take over the world to persuade him to power up the Eclipse Cannon, which would give the people of Mobius Earth no choice but to accept Dr. Eggman as their supreme ruler. But using all 7 emeralds on the cannon puts it on a collision course with Earth, which Eggman had no idea about, and Shadow was secretly planning this whole time. It's not until the absolute last second that he realizes Maria wanted him to protect the people of Earth, causing him to rush down and catch up with Sonic and Knuckles, defeat the Bio-Lizard, and use the 7 emeralds to go super alongside Sonic and stop the Eclipse Cannon. Throughout the entire game, Shadow basically has full control over everything that happens. His plan works exactly as predicted, and when he has a change of heart, he's the reason they were able to save the day. And he even sacrifices himself to the cause. Also, his gameplay is awesome. He plays just like Sonic, and Adventure 2 is home to some of my favorite levels in the series. This is peak Shadow. Sonic Heroes once again makes Shadow playable, but he's not nearly as relevant as he was last time. The game opens with Rouge freeing him from a pod in Eggman's base, and throughout the game, he leads Team Dark as the speed character, which is kinda the least useful of the trio. And then there's this whole confusing plot point where he has amnesia, and there's all these other Shadows in pods, so it's like, maybe our Shadow isn't the real one, or maybe they're all fakes and he's actually dead. And there's no clear explanation or answers given, so he could be completely worthless, we don't know. Still though, the Shadow character is playable and pretty useful, so he gets sidekick tier. I'm gonna include Sonic Battle this time around because 1, Shadow's not in as many games, and 2, so this dude can stop harassing me about it. Sonic Battle makes Shadow playable and gives him his own episode in the story, where he's pretty freaking useful. Rouge has to save him from Eggman's base early in the story, just like last time, but after that, he makes it his mission to stop Emerl from getting all 7 Chaos Emeralds, because like him, Emerl was created to be a weapon, and when he gains ultimate power, he believes it'll be the downfall of the planet. So he tries to kill him, it doesn't work, and the two kind of bond over being created for destruction, but having a good soul deep down. And that's apparently because Gerald Robotnik just copy-pasted Maria's soul into both of them? I don't know, it's weird, but him and Rouge are the ones that figure out how to make Emerl perfectly safe, by activating his full power and saying the phrase, "Bring hope to humanity." Once Shadow says that, it removes Eggman's control over him and gets rid of all his violent programming, so he's responsible for the most pivotal moment for this game's main character. And if you're looking purely at the fighting gameplay and which characters are considered higher tier, you'll find Shadow near the top of just about every list. I'm not gonna act like I know what the competitive scene for this game looks like. I've only played a couple matches of it very casually, but being considered one of the better characters and contributing a lot to the story makes this one a solidified elite tier. This one's literally named after him. Elite! He's the main playable character throughout the entire game, and his decisions directly impact the fate of the world. This game's notorious for having all these different story paths and endings that do make it a complicated playthrough, but also really illustrate how much control Shadow has over the events of the game. He can choose to help Sonic and Co. fight alongside Gun and see their side win, or he can help Black Doom and ultimately destroy the planet. He's the key to either side winning, so if there was a tier higher than Elite, he'd go there. In Sonic 06, Shadow gets his own story mode like Sonic and Silver. His gameplay still maintains the fast pace of Sonic's, but it has a lot more focus on combat and enemies with health bars, which don't take more than a couple extra homing attacks to kill, but do bog down levels a bit. And the vehicle sections are god-awful. But still, overall his levels are around as fun as Sonic's. Baroque and all the same, but can be enjoyable. But his role in the story is even more prominent. He's the reason Mephiles gets released, but he's also the one that sealed him away 10 years ago, so those kinda cancel out. And like Amy, he saves Sonic from another Silver ass-whooping, albeit in a way more badass way. Chaos Control! Then at the end of the game, he goes super alongside Sonic and Silver and helps destroy Iblis in all timelines. This one's a pretty simple elite, but after this game, Shadow takes a bit of a step back. He's not in Sonic Unleashed, Colors, or Sonic 4, but he finally makes a return in 2011 with Sonic Generations, and he's nowhere near as useful as he's been in every other game up until this point. He's not just another one of Sonic's friends at the birthday party, which is good, but he only appears in Final Rush for a quick boss fight. Now, he's still running toe-to-toe with Sonic and is a more than effective rival, but he doesn't do anything to help the plot of this game. He makes a one-off cameo basically and is gone after that, so he gets decently capable tier. As for Sonic X Shadow Generations, I can't really say definitively until the game comes out. Although at Summer Game Fest this weekend, they dropped some massive new footage and it's looking like it's going to be another easy elite. I got to be there and caught the audience's live reaction to the update, so check out my video via that card. And stay tuned to this channel for some exclusive insights on the game coming later this week. I may or may not be trying it out in the next couple days. If it's out already, I'll have it as another card and in the end screen. He gone in Sonic Lost World, but in Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, he returns as another boss. He shows up randomly in the middle of the game and calls Sonic weak because of his loyalty to his friends. Clearly the writers have never played a Sonic the Hedgehog game. This dude's obsessed with honoring his old friend Maria, and is shown time and time again to care a lot about his newer pals too. Now, the boss is pretty cool with all the arena changes, but it's not very innovative or unique gameplay-wise, and it's a pretty forgettable fight. He's getting his lowest ranking yet. Barely does anything. He's not in Sonic Mania, but in Sonic Forces, he returns as a villain alongside Chaos Zero, Zavok, and Metal Sonic. But, that's not the real Shadow? Yeah, he fights alongside Sonic in this game, despite the illusions early on. And in a free update they added called Episode Shadow, you can play as the Edgelord himself in every modern Sonic stage. It's more of a fan service than anything, because he's basically just a skin for Sonic, but it was still cool to see a character besides Sonic get to be playable for the first time since 06. We'll toss him in decently capable. And he's not in Sonic Frontiers or Sonic Superstars, so there you have it. Real quick, if you take your Nintendo Switch on the go a lot and wish it was easier to lug around, you gotta ditch that clunky old dock. It's bulky, flimsy, and really doesn't have a good reason to be. And Accelerate Gaming's portable dock is the solution you've been waiting for. It cuts the unnecessary plastic of Nintendo's and gives you a sleek, durable, and very portable alternative. And it's only 20 bucks, so if you want to enhance your Switch setup and support this channel, go grab one now and use code JeremyK to get an additional 10% off your order. There's a very limited amount of uses on that, so redeem it while you can. And if you disagree with me on any of the rankings in this video, leave your takes down in the comments. And if you're super pumped for Sonic X Shadow Generations, check out the video on screen. Thank you so much for watching.